And people wonder why horror anime isn't scary. This bitch just tripped on oxygen molecules and started giving the grapefruit technique to her own umbrella. If that isn't the most Looney Tunes shit I've ever heard. It's 1998, the year of cassette players, Windows 98, and Hillary Clinton NTR. While the majority of the world was prospering off the backs of advanced civilization, a group of Japanese students in rural Japan could only be described as going through it. Koichi Sakakibara has just made possibly the worst decision in his entire life. After transferring to a middle school in what is truly the boonies, he meets his classmate, competitive autist Mei Misaki. Cryptic and vague language is her bread and butter.
Something very sad happened that day for me.
What did you go to the second basement level for? You said you had something to deliver. You were holding some kind of white doll. Is that what you had to do?
I hate being questioned. Stop it.
And she can't go 3 seconds without caressing her favorite Diddy toys. They're both in class 3-3, a group of middle school students who have seemingly found the ultimate technique to bullying developmentally disabled peers. Straight up pretending they don't exist. But wait, it seems I have stereotyped. Bad habit of mine. They're not bullying her, and when her name is brought into conversation, fear strikes into the souls of the classmates, as if they dare not even acknowledge her existence. It was said that there was once a student in this very class that tragically died decades ago, but at the time, their classmates, their teachers, everyone around this student pretended they were still alive for years after their death. Coincidentally, the very opposite of how Misaki is being treated right now. We do not speak of what happened to those who played along. Another is about the mystery of this specific class. This is the most gather around the campfire type of story ever, which I guess I don't really mind. But why the fuck do these messed up anime always take place in some rural town? What could the countryside have done to these authors? Another takes a low and slow approach with its mystery. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think a single important thing happens in almost the entirety of the first 3 episodes. Instead, it's spent on setting the scene. It drops bits and pieces of information like you're a dog licking the plates for human leftovers. Who is this apathetic robot of a person? Is she a ghost because everyone around her is ignoring her and she sure acts like one? Or is that what the show wants you to think? What unspeakable things happened to the people who pretended the dead student was still alive decades ago?
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
Then all of a sudden, the bodies begin to drop. I probably made that sound way scarier than it actually is, because another is a comedy. Yeah, you heard me right. This show is a comedy. It may as well be a ladyboy on the streets of Thailand because you are not paying for what you're getting. My guts will never know this level of uncontrollable laughter again. And guess what? This is the single most popular horror anime series of all time. You see how that's an issue? The poster girl of an entire genre achieves, quite frankly, the opposite goal of that genre. Simply put, I should not be losing my shit when middle schoolers are being eliminated on screen. Among other contributing factors, now horror anime is associated with comically over-the-top death scenes and more edge than your average Rust player. But another never intended for this to be the outcome. Matter of fact, it takes itself 100% seriously. I can see the creators sitting in a room going like, yeah, so make her trip and fall on her own umbrella. Oh, and make the blood splurt just a little extra here. Ooh, we're about to traumatize so many people. Like, I can actively hear that conversation in my head when I'm watching some of these scenes. Eerie sound effects and dramatically haunting tracks and images are littered throughout the screen time, even when there is literally nothing happening on screen. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make an atmosphere feel as artificial as Kim Kardashian's BBL. While the show doesn't exactly excel at shivering your timbers, it serves wonderfully as a piece of media for intoxicated joyrides. As the tension crescendos and the dread-filled atmosphere just seems to set in, another unintentionally gives you internal bleeding levels of tonal whiplash. The way some of these characters die is nothing short of slapstick, and it was labeled the final destination of anime for a reason. Yes, they give us the context that the curse is what's killing them, but no amount of in-world lore is going to save these scenes from the internet memeing the fuck out of it. I mean, it's too free. The plot is truly an exponential graph. On one hand, we're picking our boogers for 8 episodes as we watch the class size slowly diminish. And then boom, more shit happens in the last 2 episodes than every single episode before it combined. This is the kind of show where if you can stand to sit through painfully slow pacing, there will be an entertaining payoff in the end, even if it's a clown fiesta. I had more fun watching these last 2 episodes than I did sneaking ice cubes into my friend's ass cracks.
Oh, fuck!
Chaos, anarchy. These are the results of putting humans in dire and desperate situations. Instead of working together, they turn on each other and kill the pack from the inside out. Now take those brilliant ideas, give it to the edgiest preteen you can find, and tell that kid to make the coolest thing they can think of.
Let's first make all the most overly dramatic music choices. Then draw the most over-exaggerated facial expressions, and then let's put death scenes in the most comedic places possible. What the fuck?
Yeah, Jimmy, you're fired. Sorry, did I say fired? I meant you are hired! You just made one of the most retardedly entertaining pieces of media anime has ever seen. I love it! Anime that is genuinely frightening does exist, just not in the way you think. The thing is, if an anime is deliberately marketed as a horror anime, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the corny shock value content that isn't actually scary. The best horror anime, don't try to shove it in your face that it's horror. Perfect Blue, Flowers of Evil, aren't what you typically consider to be traditional horror, but are 80 times better at doing their jobs than showing me bitches slipping on invisible banana peels. An anime about an actress with an obsessive stalker. It feels like she's constantly being watched, manipulated. Horrible thing after horrible thing happens on screen, and as her mental state slowly deteriorates, you as the viewer cannot tell what is real or fake anymore. A nightmarish fever dream that feels never ending. Or how about an anime about 2 people's descent into madness? One character slowly corrupting the mind of the other and dragging him down to her level. What you fear is how much further down the hole these characters can fall. What horrible things do people with no cares left in the world have the ability to do to themselves and to the people around them? The ideas they present are what's horrifying. Not excessive gore or jump scares that can only affect you on a surface level, but concepts that haunt your mind. Implications that you can't help but dwell on, ideas that infest you to your core. Without disturbing imagery consisting of detailed costumes and realistic visual effects that live action has access to, this is how anime does horror best. Through creative visual expression, through generating an atmosphere, and most importantly, through its themes. Uzumaki Episode 1 showed us that maybe traditional horror anime has a chance. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only episode they put out. What a shame. How do I describe how I feel about Another? It's so difficult because it was really fucking boring for a big portion of its runtime with a mystery that didn't have much of a payoff and is probably one of the worst written shows I've seen in a while, but it was so entertaining for all the wrong reasons. I can consider this show a lot of things, but good is probably not the word I'd use. Regardless, it is definitely worth a watch. The show is a big part of anime culture, and being able to make fun of it as a community is a lot of fun. I could go on and on about bad writing and how this plot hole or that plot hole doesn't make sense, but I feel like that would just ruin my entire spiel I just had about enjoying the show for what it is. Because I gave it a chance, now I know that teachers weren't joking when they yelled at us to not run in the hallways.